According to Gilbert Keith Chesterton, if God were to write about his creation of the world, he would not write a poem. He would not write an essay, but he would compose a play, a drama. Shakespeare said something like this in the monologue to How You Like It. All the world's a stage. All men and women mere players. For Chesterton, when God created the world, he gave humans freedom. Freedom to interpret the lines in their play according to what they thought was the best way to express it. But the players in the drama not only expressed their own ideas for the lines, but changed the lines. They even changed the purpose of the play. And without purpose, without the unity of the play, the coherence and the emphasis, the play becomes chaotic. It becomes dark. In a way, it does not make sense. Is incomprehensible, meaningless. So what Chesterton does, and he says that God now comes down on the stage himself. It's the incarnation. The Son of God, there on the stage, and he tells the actors really what it's all about. That he is the light of the world, and they are dwelling in darkness. He gives them an example of how to live. Now, you have the child of Bethlehem coming down. A helpless child in a manger. He's there because Caesar Augustus has ordered a census of the entire empire. A contrast between Caesar Augustus and the helpless child. Caesar Augustus, the most powerful person in the world, and the helpless child, without lodging, almost 90 miles from his home, there with his parents in a cave or a stable, with only animals and the shepherds around. What chance does this child have to make an impact upon the world? None at all. Now we have a choice to make in life. Are we going to follow Augustus Caesar and the empire, or are we going to follow the helpless child? The empire represents the materialism of the devil, and the little child represents the spirituality of Christianity. It's a difficult decision to make, not to take all that materialism of the empire, but to make that decision for us. It would be helpful if we were a dynamic Catholic. Then we'd be better equipped to make the decision. As you leave church this afternoon, you'll be given a book called The Dynamic Catholic. It's a survey of all the Catholics in the United States. says that only 7% of Catholics are dynamic, engaged in their religion. That 7% are remnant. They make all the volunteer work in the church possible. They do the contributions to make it operate efficiently. And there are 4 signs the book talks about of a dynamic Catholic. The first sign is that a dynamic Catholic spends 15 or 20 minutes a day in prayer. 1% of Catholics in the United States go to daily Mass. That's their 20 minutes of prayer each day. Other Catholics might say the daily rosary. That's their 15 or 20 minutes. Another Catholic may take out the Bible or the Missalette and read from the Bible and pray for 15 or 20 minutes. Another may just sit in a room in their house silently, contemplating God in His goodness and mercy. But whatever it is, they usually spend the same time, the same place, for 15 or 20 minutes in prayer. And that's essential for them to be dynamic. The second sign of the dynamic Catholic is one who learns about his religion or her religion. They spend another 15 minutes reading, perhaps, a good Catholic book, good Catholic magazine, searching the internet for something that's going to enlighten them. Our religion has treasures that we do not know about. Perhaps a good DVD will help out. Perhaps a good CD. But the treasures of our religion that we have to learn about is that it's a religion of mercy. It's a religion of love. It's a religion of tolerance. And the history of the church is filled with examples of it. Most people do not realize the best qualities in our Constitution somewhere can be found in the Catholic tradition from the year 500 to 1500. It's there. It's explicit. No one ever talks about it. They call it the Dark Ages. But also in one's study of religion, it helps them to learn how to pray. Just to sit in their room and contemplate the goodness of God. The third sign of a dynamic Catholic is one who shares his or her time, talent, and treasure. And they do it every day in some form or another. The fourth quality of a dynamic Catholic is one who evangelizes. Of all the Catholics in the United States, that is the least developed. Catholics do not like to evangelize. They don't want to offend anybody. Is it offensive to say to a co-worker, to a friend, you know, the mess this world is in the Middle East, and the terrorism, I pray every day that somehow it'll come to an end. Is that offensive to tell somebody you do that? Is it offensive to tell someone, would you like to come to a parish dinner? Or, I read a very good article, maybe it's in a Catholic magazine. Well, I'll loan it to you or give it to you. That's not offensive. There's all kinds of things that we can do. We can say, you know, I'm going to have a test next Thursday or Friday or whatever it might be. I'm worried what the results might be. And I'm praying it's going to come out all right. That's sharing your faith. That's evangelizing. Now, we take these signs of being a dynamic Catholic. I can't spend 15 minutes reading or praying. Well, maybe you could start out with 1 or 2 minutes or 5 minutes and try to work your way up to become a dynamic Catholic. Let us go back to that scene of Bethlehem, where we have the helpless child, the shepherds, Joseph and Mary. Is there any dynamism there? A few hundred years, 500 after that event, the Roman Empire is gone. Today, over a billion Christians around the world celebrate the birthday of the child. Now, we have right here in this church, in midday, in front of Jesus Christ in the tabernacle, as we're about to celebrate the liturgy of the Eucharist, we have a dynamism here. A dynamism of all of you greater than the shepherds there at Bethlehem. Far greater. You can become a game changer in your own life. You can take the level of your happiness and you can elevate it by moving towards becoming a dynamic Catholic. You'll make all the difference in the world. Yes, we are called to be game changers in a way. And people say, but it's hopeless. They thought it was hopeless when the child was born. It was only the beginning of hopelessness in a way. A few days later, Herod would be after the child. He'd have to escape into Egypt, driven out of his home. And of course, he'd meet many other problems in life. So take the book as you leave church about the dynamic Catholic. And if you don't read it, perhaps you can give it to somebody. Perhaps it can make a difference in their life. But just begin. Some of you already do the 4 things. But just if you don't begin to make progress in those 4 things, and you'll find out you'll be a much happier person in life.